Hi, my name is Miles Kelly, and this is my presentation for Oceanography, and it is titled Native Marine Species Called DIBS. The topic that I chose is protecting marine species, specifically native marine species. Those are species that have ended up in their environment without any kind of humans pushing them there, and we'll get more into what that means. Native marine species are crucial for the environment because they keep everything balanced and they make sure that our oceans are healthy, and they are also a really great indicator to see if our ocean is healthy. If there's less of them, then that means that there's something wrong. I chose to represent the grouper because this is one of our main native species in Florida and other places. And the grouper relies on small native species to feed on, but there are other species that are taking away those prey from them. Marine pollution. What is that? Marine pollution is any harmful substance that is put into our oceans. That could be trash, biological stuff, sewage sludge, and so much more. Climate change effects. This is the list that I have on my PowerPoint slide, but there are so many more effects caused by climate change. I have hotter days on here. Oceans heat up. That means that our sea levels rise because the ice is melting. We get coral bleaching because they can't handle the temperatures. It's too hot. Also, the greenhouse gases are holding in all that heat, so everything inside suffers. And that also causes non-native species to migrate to find a safer home or more food. So many things are affected by climate change. Human impact on native marine species is a big deal. Human activities really affect our oceans. Some of these activities can look like overfishing. That means you catch way too many fish than what you need. Bycatch, that's catching stuff that you can't even use and they just throw it back into the ocean, and sometimes it doesn't get back in the ocean soon enough and it dies. That hurts our species. We also see habitat destruction, right? If the ocean's getting too hot, their habitat's getting destroyed. Or deep sea mining, that's destroying their habitat on the sea floor. Ocean acidification, again, it just ruins the ocean. It becomes too acidic for them to live. Pollution, like trash, sea turtles eating plastic bags. This is all stuff that can be prevented by humans because they are done by humans. And last on my list, I have the introduction of invasive species, and I'll go more into that. So now I'm going to go more into biological pollution, specifically non-native species, also known as invasive species. Invasive species are considered invasive when it is introduced to an ecosystem outside of its native range and has potential impacts on the ecology, economy, or society in its introduced range. Non-native species become invasive when they start hurting the natives around them. That can look like them taking up all the prey or taking up all the habitat space so that the natives have nowhere to go and they're vulnerable, then they die off because they have nowhere to hide. They take up all of the resources like light and food. They also come in sometimes and bring in all kinds of nasty diseases that these species aren't used to, and then they die off. How are non-native species introduced into a new environment? Well, a lot of it has to do with humans, unfortunately. It can be from releasing them into the wild as like a pet owner. It could be from different cargo ships and different loads that are transported in the ocean. It can be climate change forces these animals to move into somewhere that's not as cold or as warm, so they start moving into places where they don't belong. Also for food sources, right? If we're overfishing, then we're taking away their food, so that means that they need to move somewhere else where there's food. An example of an invasive species that I would like to talk about is the lionfish. The lionfish has venomous spines that make it harder for other animals to prey on it, so it doesn't have any natural predators. It also doesn't originate in like the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the southwest coastal area of the United States. It doesn't belong there, but now it's heavily populated in those areas, which has been really bad because they can eat so many tiny little native fish, and they are able to reproduce like crazy, like up to 2 million eggs a year. And they have been seen to eat up about like 70 to 90% of prey in certain areas, which is really bad because that leaves no food for the native fish like the grouper or the snappers or the eels. Like a lot of these native populations are affected because of this fish. What can we do to help our native marine species? I have a couple of suggestions here. Reducing your plastic waste, eating responsibly, checking the labels, making sure that what you're eating is sustainable, reducing the waste that you throw out. Never release animals into the wild, ever. Not even flushing your goldfish. Do your waste responsibly. And if you don't want a pet anymore, then go find a shelter or an aquarium that will take it, but do not release it into the ocean. Volunteer for beach cleanups. I always see some stuff online. You know, you can always do your own research. Support restoration initiatives. So that could look like putting your money in there, right? Making sure that you are keeping up to date on their websites, you know, giving them more traction. That helps. Anything helps. And then lastly, do your own research, of course. Find different ways to help that you are able to do. So our conclusion is just summarizing everything that we talked about. Native marine species are crucial for keeping the oceans balanced. Climate change affects us and the oceans. Invasive species are a form of pollution, and ways that we can help. Together, we can protect our marine species. Thank you.